Africa have more than enough natural resources to supply the world. Yet, we are begging for handouts from the world. Do you know why? Because we are ruled by principalities manifest in the flesh as politicians and pastors. And what do you do with principalities? You dethrone them. Granted, there are a handful of African leaders who have awakened from this slumber and stupidity, and they are putting Africa's first. That's just a handful. But majority of African leaders are evil and wicked and greedy and selfish devils in suits who call themselves leaders. And it's time for us, a new breed of Africans to rise up and take back our continent and turn that continent back to what God intended it to be. That was the Garden of Eden, paradise on earth. We're going to do so. So all you principalities manifesting, one man wants to be in office for 30 years. And while he's in office for 30 years, he steals the money and the natural resources from the very people he meant to rule and lead out of poverty. He steals the resources and the money from them. Invest it in the West, whether in properties or locked up in banks in the West. And he stays in power for 30, 40 years. And when he's done, he turns it over to his children, to his son, or whoever else is in charge. What is wrong with such mind? What kind of devil is that in suit? What kind of demon is that manifesting that call himself a leader, a president? Does the West sound like they need your money, my friend? When the average citizens in countries in Africa make $3 a day, then you call yourself a leader, and you steal the money and the resources from the very people you are meant to protect. You steal it from them, put it in banks in the Western world, the Western countries, buy mansions and private jets in the West. Send your wives and children and concubines to go to school in the West. Sometimes you send your wife and children and concubines to go on vacation on a shopping spree in a private jet. And where are they shopping? In the West. So you stole the money from the people. You purchase private jets. Then you send your children in the same West to pump the money in the economy of the West by going on a shopping spree. Is there something wrong with the mind of the leaders in Africa? Isn't that wicked? Evil? Isn't that wicked and evilness? Evil? Selfishness? Greed? Is it not? It's time for you guys to step down. You either step yourself down or God will step you down. Isn't that wickedness and evilness that will cause a leader to be in office for 10, 20, 30 years? And that 10 or 20 or 30 years, he didn't have enough sense to build a decent school that is worthy of educating his own children, and he sent his kids abroad to go to school. The insanity of African leaders. Imagine Donald Trump sending his son to go to school in Europe or Africa because there's no decent school in America. The stupidity of African leaders. They stay in office for 10, 20, 30 years. When they are sick, out of day, and their children, they do what? Send them to the West for the best medical care. You don't have enough sense to know. To build a decent hospital that is worthy of treating you, there should be a law passed. 2 laws should be passed in Africa. Number 1, if you decide to run for public office, regardless of your public office, your assets, what you owe and what's in the bank, your personal assets should be made public. So you don't run for office as a president or a governor, a senator, and you run for office, you can't even buy a regular house for $200,000, but you came out of office, you have a private jet. Something is wrong. Somebody should begin to question you guys. So all your public assets, all your assets, your personal assets should be made public. So you run for office as a president, and you can't even buy a house worth $200,000, but when you leave office as a president, you have several mansions and private jets. Somebody should question you. The second law that should be passed: no government official or nobody who works for the government should ever be allowed to send their kids abroad to school or come abroad to school for any kind of medical treatment. Stay back in the country you have destroyed. The education system, if it's not good enough to educate your children, guess what? It shouldn't be good enough to educate anyone else's children. The medical system, if it's not good enough to your standards to treat you or your family member, well, guess what? It shouldn't be good enough to treat the citizens who put you into office to take care of them. Those are the 2 laws should be passed. Anybody running for office in Africa, number 1, please let the public know your personal assets. We want to know how much you're worth when you're running for office. We want to know how much you're worth when you come out of office. So you running for office as a senator, a governor, a president, your asset is worth $100,000. Everything you have is $100,000. Then 2 or 3 years later, or whatever be your term, you come out of office 1 or 2 terms later, you got $50 million in the Swiss bank. What's up with that? Come on, man, what's up? No government official, even police officer, any government official should ever be allowed to leave Africa to come for medical treatment or send a kids abroad for school. Let your kids stay in that same country. Since you don't have the sense, the money you have, they give you money to allocate to build roads. You use 10% of the money to build the roads. The other 90% you put in your pocket. Then you send your wife, your girlfriend, your children abroad to live a good life while the citizens are suffering. Isn't that wickedness? Are you not evil? Are some of you even human beings? Do you have a heart? I wonder sometimes, are some of those leaders in Africa, are they human beings? Or they have human, have alien? Because some of them act like they don't have a heart. It's wickedness and it's evil. And the wickedness and the evil in Africa with our leaders, it has to stop. We have to begin to rise up and make a demand. And I also have to take into consideration that the minds and the hearts of the Africans are also wicked. The average citizens are also wicked towards each other. And sometimes our leaders are merely reflecting back to us who we are. So we also cannot only and always point finger at the leaders. Yes, they are to be blamed. But you also, your personal individual life, you cannot be corrupt in your business, corrupt in your marriage. Corrupt means you cheating on your husband or your wife. Corrupt in your business, you cheating with your customers. You mixing half water and half something to make it look something, whatever. You are cheating and you are corrupt in your business, cheating in the school on your test score, sleeping around to get test grades. You are corrupt in your personal life, corrupt in your marriage, corrupt in your business, your career, your school. You are corrupt. And then you want to point finger at a politician. One corrupt man pointing finger at another corrupt man. You're not any better than a politician. Sometimes our politicians are merely reflecting back to us who we are. So the change that we want to see in our leaders in Africa, let that change begin inside of us. Let that change begin with each and every one of us, individually and corporately. Let us begin to reflect that change. Then maybe our leaders will reflect to us who we are in our private places, in our heart. My name is Dagnet. I'm here to shake Africa and wake her up. I'm here to challenge Africans to think differently. I'm here to provoke and challenge you to begin to question yourself and question your leaders. That why must this wickedness and corruption continue on your watch and on your shift when we have more than enough natural resources to supply the world, but yet we are begging for handouts from the world? Why? Liberia used to have, I'm not sure if she still does, have one of the largest rubber plantations in the world. The streets of Liberia should be paved with gold. The streets of Liberia is not even paved. Nobody asking question. Where did our resources go? Who sold our natural resources? And many of our African leaders are wicked. They took our natural resources and they sold it to the West for pennies on the dollars. Then the West brought those raw material over to America or UK or Europe, took those very same raw material, manufacture products, and then ship those same products back to you Africans. Dumb people. They ship those same products back to you, and then they sell the products back to you for arm and the legs. Nobody's asking questions. We're still going about. What's up, Africa? Can you wake up from your slumber, your blindness, your dullness? Can you awaken? Can you begin to make a demand on your own self? Can you begin to make a demand that you become a man and a woman of integrity and keep your word even if it hurts? Can you begin to make a demand on your politician that we want better? We are tired of suffering, poverty, rape, incest, corruption, hypocrisy. We are tired. We want better. We want a better Africa. Can you begin to make a demand that you yourself as an individual deserve a better life, a better marriage, a better relationship with yourself and your fellow humans and fellow Africans? Can you make a demand on yourself that you yourself need to work on yourself, work on your character, that you become a man and a woman of integrity? And then you can make a demand on your leaders to reflect who you are in private and in public. I bless you. Thank you. You can find me on Facebook, Warriors Prayer Bootcamp, YouTube, Warriors Prayer Bootcamp, Instagram, Prayer Bootcamp, Periscope at Prayer Bootcamp, Facebook, Dagnet T. Johnson. I'm on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me there. Help me to share this video. I want this video to go to every leaders in Africa, every world leader, the president of Liberia, Nigeria, Ghana, whoever, even those who are running for office, anywhere in the world, there are Africans in the diaspora. Help me share this video. Let it go viral. Let it begin. Let it go viral. And let us begin, beloved, to have a conversation and begin to ask ourselves questions. Husband married, got 3, 4, 5 girlfriends. Is it not corruption? But then you point your finger, you say George Weah did this. Okay, he's corrupt financially, but you corrupt morally. Is it any better? Young women in their teens and 20s and 30s sleeping with married men. But then you point your finger and say George Weah is corrupt. He stole the country's money. Are you not corrupt? He's corrupt financially. You corrupt morally. Sexually, you are corrupt. So one corrupt man accuse another person of corruption. Are we not hypocrites? Are we not hypocrites? You have no right to come on social media and say George Weah is corrupt when you know you're corrupt privately. Let's begin to look within and work in ourselves. Individually and corporately, work on ourselves. Heal the wounds in our heart. Forgive those who have hurt us. Hello, beloved. I can go on, but I have to get off now. I thank you. I salute you. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing, subscribing, and inviting. Thank you very much. You can leave your comment, your suggestion below. And you don't be nice with your comment. There's only one thing I'm going to do. Block both of you in your comments because I ain't got no time for foolishness. Yes, I don't have time for nonsense. I have little or no patience for stupidity. If we can't wake up now and see something's wrong with our continent, our leaders, we want to come and backbite, you want to come and point finger at me and say, look, you know the Africans, look at your face, look at your mouth. That just tells me you have no sense. Your brains are empty. Your head is empty. But if you have idea for us to get together and mobilize and form a movement to take Africa back and make her great, well, leave your ideas, your comments, your suggestions below. And let's take the continent back and shake those devils out. Let's take the continent back from the colonizer. They may have colonized us in the past, but today they are still colonizing us behind the scene. You better open your eyes, somebody. It's time. It is time for us to take Africa back from the colonizer. If that means we got to kick some of our own leaders out, well, so be it. But we cannot be quiet no more. The movement, the revolution have started. Let it start with you. Let it start with you and me by sharing this video. Make sure it goes viral. Thank you.